you told me backstage that this is what's called a pub stomp.
What else happened backstage, Bella?
Anyway, girls, pub stomping is when a pro like me goes into a random server and lays down the, let me hear you out there! I love this crap.
That was me acting as a talk show host. It was awesome. With over 3.2 million subscribers on YouTube, they are two of the most prolific and impressive filmmakers and special effects gurus working in the online space. Please welcome Freddie Wong and Brandon Laatsch to What's Trending. How are you guys? It's
Good,
nice to finally
good.
have you here.
I know, we've
You shoot a lot here.
I know, we've done all kinds of stuff here, but we've never
we
actually.
asked for lots of favors, but.
And so while we listen, that's how it works in this space. It's all about collaboration.
Yeah, exactly.
And you, I just feel like I've risen in the space so quickly. People might not realize, like, it's not like you're doing this to be big Hollywood film directors. Like, you've already done the traditional thing.
We actually, yeah, before we did YouTube, we did direct-to-TV, and it was just not as glorious, I think, as Hollywood movies, but it is like, you know, feature-length movies that show on television in countries like Spain and Germany, and
at the time coming out of film school, it was kind of like the dream. It's like, okay, we're getting money, we're getting someone else's money, and we're making projects with it. So that was exactly what we want to be doing. But it turned out to really not be that fulfilling, not be that exciting, because when we put stuff out, we never actually got to see any feedback on it. It would just sit out there forever.
Yeah, the only time we actually saw feedback was when like the movies we worked on would get pirated, and we'd be like, oh, it's on the torrents right now. We got to download our movie. We got to see how.
That was like more exciting.
It was super exciting
like
to get stuff pirated.
10,
yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, it's pretty good.
So how long has it been since you've been on YouTube, and like, do you think was the kind of recipe towards you building your fan base so quickly?
I think a lot of it was we were watching a lot of YouTube beforehand. You
Yeah.
know, and we were always like, man, this is the kind of video that we would want to see. And it's the kind of stuff that we eventually ended up making, which is like, you know, short, funny, sort of high action, visual effects sort of driven stuff. And like, man, that's the kind of stuff that we would want to see. And I was like, man, no one's making it. So I guess we should just start making it.
Yeah, we
you know?
kept on kind of talking through, like, this is, somebody's going to come along, they're going to start making shorts. We kind of described basically exactly what our model of videos is. We're like, someone's going to do it. And then after waiting for years for it, we're like, well, wait, no one's doing it. Maybe we should do it. And so we started doing it ourselves.
And you really came at an interesting time where there has been a revolution going on in the YouTube space. It's not just, you know, vloggers and as a hobby anymore. This became your full-time job.
Yeah, it was kind of like the partner program had been around for a little bit before we started. And it was like sort of just when people were starting to take it more seriously as a potential for a career, really. Yeah.
And now you won't really, it's like you're getting these offers for film, for Hollywood, but why is that something you don't want to maybe pursue?
I think the big thing is, since the beginning of doing this, we've had, one of the cool things about it is we have this very direct sort of interaction with the people who watch our stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, like, we're on the same level. And it's very cool because you get a lot of feedback right away, you get a very good sense of like what works, what doesn't work. And, you know, in comparison to like, you know, like our Twitter accounts and stuff, right? It's like it's followed, you know, people ask us questions and we just respond back to them because it's like, you know, whatever. But you compare that to like, you know, sort of other Hollywood directors, Hollywood actors who, you know, a lot of times they don't even man their Twitter accounts. It's just it's their publicist sitting there tweeting for them. And it's like, we have this direct relationship with the audience that lets us do whatever we want to do because, you know, we put stuff out, they see it, they respond to it. And that sort of level of interaction is something that is hard to let go of.
And it's a new wave of content. It's not about thinking about how we usually present content. You guys are changing that model as well.
Well, the nice thing about going online is that there's no set lengths anymore. Like if you go to TV, there's 22-minute episodes and 44-minute episodes with commercials. And going online, really, you can just write for whatever length something makes sense to be. That's how long it has to be. You're never stretching things or compressing it or to hit a time.
We have a live Twitter question from Matt Avis. Ask Freddie and Brandon what your post-VGS HS plans are. We didn't even get into this
VGHS is
yet.
the world's hardest acronym to pronounce, by the way.
VGHS. I was getting this live, you see, in my ear. That's why I was doing a bit more slowly to hear.
We're going to do a spin-off called VGA Chess, because some people hear that one, so it's just a guy playing a 2D chess game on an old, like, IBM.
Yeah, after VGHS, we're basically working on, we're developing more long-form projects, as well as continuing on with kind of the shorter form stuff. So kind of in the middle, we're going to do some shorter stuff and then go back to longer stuff.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, we haven't talked about VGHS, which
you were on.
I was on. That was the clip you saw before we started this interview. Video Game High School, and what was so cool about this was how you developed it. You went to Kickstarter.
Yeah, and it was funny because when we went to Kickstarter, it was like November last year.
Yeah.
And it was like before Schaefer's big game project. It was before like all these giant like multi-million-dollar Kickstarter projects. So at that time, like nobody knew what Kickstarter was, or not a lot of people knew what Kickstarter was. So we were like, hey, we're gonna do Kickstarter, and I was like, what was that? We're like, well, it's it's this crowdsourcing, and then now of course when you say, oh, I'm gonna do Kickstarter, it's like, yeah, whatever, everyone does Kickstarter now,
It's like old news.
I know, right?
A few months old on the internet.
Yeah, now looking back at it now, it seems really obvious to do Kickstarter, but at the time it wasn't a no-brainer. It was really like, oh, maybe we'll try this, maybe this will work. Like at the time we asked for, relatively compared to like similar projects, we asked for much lower than what most projects would ask for at that range now, and so it's kind of fun to have it bloom and see what Kickstarter's really
How
become.
much money did you raise for the video series?
It was $270,000.
That's incredible.
Before Kickstarter and Amazon take the fees and all that, so that's what.
And we won't go into that. So tell people what Video Game High School is all about, and why do you think it inspired so many people to donate?
Well, so that's sort of two-part question. So Video Game High School it's a 9-part web series, feature length, 2 hours long total. It's about like a universe where professional video gaming is like the most important sport in the world. And so as a result, they have schools, because to teach kids to become sort of professional video game athletes. And of course, the whole thing is we're not taking that concept like seriously. We're like, this is ridiculous. It'd be hilarious. And I used to do a little bit of like pro gaming for Guitar Hero, and it's like that world is like hilarious.
Yes.
and so it's about kids sort of thrust into this universe and sort of fish out of water high school story. Then the second part, which is I think why people donate, I think part of it also was just like we structured the Kickstarter in a way that was like you're pre-ordering like a DVD or a Blu-ray, and sort of our reasoning was, all right, look, if you want to buy this when it's out, you can, or you could buy it now, and whatever you spend on that is actually going to help us make whatever you're buying better than what it would have been. So it's like it's sort of a different, I guess, proposition to people who are buying. It's just like, well, hey, look, you can help us make this cooler. You can help what you're going to be purchasing be a lot better.
Is this the future? Are you going to do this again for another project?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think having that sort of crowdsourced side of it is going to be a big part of sort of, again, it all comes from that relationship between sort of us, creator, and the audience now, where it's like now you can sort of have that, and you're seeing it in like bigger forms. So you see like Louis C.K. does like the $5 download, and even before that, you saw Trent Reznor did like Ghosts, and he put it out for free, and then get the donations from that. So it works, and it's just you haven't seen it really work for like people who aren't like immediately recognizable names, like Louis C.K. or something.
But you are recognizable names in this YouTube space. You are celebrities, and that line is being blurred.
Yeah, definitely. I think the big ones like what I like to call is like we're kind of like the weird like middle class celebrities where it's not like everybody knows, it's like not like everyone's mom knows who you are, but at the same time it's like there is a group of people that you're working with and that respond to you.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you get like that couple, either kids or teenagers in high school where they'll you'll be walking through the mall and they'll stop and they'll recognize you. And everybody else around, like, you see people like, wait,
who is that?
But to them,
moms,
they
too.
recognize their
That's
so,
when
so
you see
familiar.
like their parents, and they're like, as they're walking, it's like,
that's those guys on YouTube.
Now, why do this on RocketJump.com?
Yeah.
You started this site instead of just putting it on YouTube, which you have a huge community on.
So we started our own site.
Yeah, for us, RocketJump.com is basically it's a destination that we can sculpt for the audience to be like basically the perfect viewing experience for them. Because while YouTube's great at generating a large number of views, and basically it's the biggest front page in the world. It's great for accessing new eyeballs. They're beholden to cater to basically the masses. They have to design their pages to be the best for everybody. And sometimes what's best for everybody is not necessarily the best for our particular audience. Like we can't write an article. We can't do certain special features that we want to. And so RocketJump for us is basically a place where we can cater the perfect viewing experience for our audience.
Very interesting. So what's the future of the platform for you guys? Where's this all headed?
I think we want to be exploring how to do long-form content, short-form, long-form content in a way that can support the creator, in a way that goes direct to the audience, and a way that I guess in a lot of ways kind of bypasses the traditional middlemen of sort of the entertainment industry, because it's super exciting to us because we feel like what web series could be is a lot like what television was when TV first came out, like compared to cinema, or what cinema was when it first came out compared to stage, dramas. It's like web series and online video or whatever that is. It's like it's a new genre, and for us, it's like this is the new genre that's coming out during our lifetimes, and it feels like it'd be so dumb of us to not, try to do what we can on that, as opposed to trying to push our way through the old traditional ways.
Well, we definitely agree here at What's Trending. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. And it's an inspiration for all you out there. Just go and do it, make it happen. And thank you so much, you guys, though, for being here. Finally making this interview happen. Make sure to check out RocketJump.com, where you can see their web series, Video Game High School, and of course, as always, their YouTube channel, youtube.com/FreddieW. Thank you so much for joining us today.